Hi, I'm Olivia, and welcome to Connecting the Dots in Early Childhood Education. I know what you might be thinking. I look a little bit crazy. That's because in today's video, I'm going to share with you 10 tips for new teachers or student teachers who are entering the workforce as an early childhood special ed teacher. These 10 tips are going to give you information about things you may want to consider when you're getting ready for work each day. Of course, every school has a dress code, and it's best to follow the school's dress code. However, there are things beyond the dress code that I wish somebody would have warned me and told me about, and that's what I'm here to do for you today. Tip number one. Tip number one is all about embellishments. Take a look at my sweater. I know, it's super fun, right? It has pom-poms all over it. When I first bought this, I thought it would be a lot of fun to wear into the classroom. However, the day that I wore it for the first time, I realized I was wrong. Children were coming up to me all day, squeezing, prodding, and pulling at the pom-poms. Let's just say I lost a pom-pom or two along the way. It's not about losing the pom-poms, though. What it really is about is the fact that things that have embellishments, like the pom-poms on my sweater, can be super distracting for children, especially those with different sensory needs. So my tip is to save the embellished clothing for the weekends, after work, things like that. Tip number two. Tip number two is all about busy patterns. Take a look at my top. It's pretty busy in the pattern. It looks kind of like a leopard print, but there's a lot going on. A lot of patterned items are really trendy and fun to wear. But when you're going into the classroom, especially as an early childhood special ed teacher, you have to remember that your students have a lot of different sensory needs, and visually, shirts like this, pants like this, dresses like this can feel really distracting to them. It's just something to think about when you're getting ready each morning. Tip number three. Tip number three is about earrings. I love long and dangly earrings. However, I never would have worn anything like this when I was teaching in the classroom. Why? There's a really good chance that a little one would have come up and pulled the earrings right out of my ear. So I say that dangly earrings are probably best to save for the weekends, after work, things like that. Tip number four has to do with your nails. Right now, my nails are painted and filed. However, I often do like to get them done or get fake nails put on to kind of give them more length. Something like these. They're a lot of fun, right? My recommendation here is to stick to a shorter length. If your nails are too long, what I came to realize is that it becomes really challenging in the classroom. There may be times where you're handling a difficult behavior or you're reaching out to prevent a child from running, and you may scratch them accidentally if your nails are too long. So this is something else that you should just keep in mind. Tip number five. Tip number five is all about glasses. Of course, wear your glasses to work. You need to be able to see. However, if you're like me and you typically don't wear glasses and you only wear them sometimes, maybe if you're not wearing your contacts or something like that, what I will tell you is that it's really important that you remind your students that you're still the same person. I remember the first time that I wore glasses in the classroom, and it took me a couple of hours before I realized that the reason that my students kept staring at me and were acting differently is because they were confused. I had to take my glasses off to remind them it was still me. Tip number six. Tip number six is all about dresses and skirts. Most schools in their dress code will have information about how long your dresses or skirts need to be, and of course, follow that. But what I will tell you is even that when you're wearing a maxi dress or a maxi skirt that goes all the way to the floor, there's still a good chance that you may have a kiddo or two who tries to go up your dress or who sees up your dress because you're dealing with a challenging behavior or you're playing. So my tip here is wear the dresses, wear the skirts as long as they're within dress code. And instead, just get yourself a pair of stretchy black shorts that you can put underneath just in case. Tip number seven. Tip number seven has to do with perfume. I know, I love perfume too, but a lot of kiddos have sensitivities to smells. They may have allergies. It could even affect their breathing. So I do recommend wearing scents that are very light if you're going to wear anything at all. But otherwise, save the perfumes for times that you're not going to be around the kids because you just never know how it's going to affect them, special needs or not. Tip number eight. Tip number 8 has to do with open-toed shoes. Now, my school would never have permitted us to wear shoes like this because there's no back on them. If we were going to wear open-toed shoes, they had to have a back. However, what I realized was that even with a back, I decided that it was best for me not to wear open-toed shoes. Why? Well, I just never knew what kind of spills were going to come my way that day, and there was also the occasion where a child may step on you accidentally. Tip number 9. Tip number 9 is that just like we have kids bring in extra pairs of clothes to keep in their cubbies in case they get messy or have an accident, I recommend that you as a teacher do the same. When I was teaching, I always kept a spare pair of clothes in the closet just in case. Early childhood can be messy, but that's what makes it so fun. So it's best to just keep some extra clothes in your classroom in case. Tip number 10. Tip number 10 is our final tip, and it's really just don't wear your Sunday best to school. You want to look professional, you want to look neat, but at the same time, you just never know what's going to happen. So it's best to not wear clothes that you feel super emotionally attached to at the end of the day. That's it. Those were all 10 tips. Again, I want to make a disclaimer that it's best to follow your school's dress code and do what you think is best for you. But these are 10 things that I wish I would have thought about and known as I started out as a teacher. To find out more, please visit our website and visit all of our social media accounts. The links and handles can be found at the slide at the end of the video. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to check out our Call a Coach service, which can be found on our website. Call a Coach provides you with some individualized, specialized support. I hope to see you there. Until next time, bye.